Hi boys and girls, this is Mrs. Soniga, and you guys have a snow day today, so I thought we'd do just a little bit of R control because I know that's what you're working on in your classrooms today. When we say R controlled, what does that mean? It means that letter R kind of takes over a normal sound. So when our vowels are what? A, E, I, O, and U, and sometimes Y. But in this case, we're not going to use a Y. But when that A, E, I, O, or U has an R after it, it completely changes the sound. It no longer says A. It no longer says E, I, O, or U. It takes a totally different sound. Let's look up here on my board. When that bossy R, we sometimes like to call it bossy R, when that bossy R is after an A, it's going to make that R sound, just like a pirate, R mate, right? When it's followed by an ER, an IR, or a UR, those three all have the same sound, and that's I like to go like this, like you're going to twirl and go up, And then the other one is OR, and that one's not too hard because that's just the regular word or. And anytime you see OR by yourself, you know the word's or. So anytime you see it in another word, like in the word for, it's still going to say or. If you see it in horse, it's still going to say or. It always says or when it's in that setting, okay? But when we talked about the R, like the pirate, some common words that you know are like car and far, and we could even get bigger and go farm. Okay, and it's still gonna have that R, and it's gotta stay that way in a syllable too. So if I added ER to farm, that second syllable has the up here, doesn't it? Farm, So it's still gonna make that sound. Well, ER, even though there's not a lot of little words with ER, one of the only ones I really think of is a boy's name, which is Bert. Like you think about Bert and Ernie, if you remember Sesame Street. It has that But even though ER is the most common R-controlled vowel, it's always usually at the end of a word. Let's think of some words. Teacher, farmer, singer, dancer, runner. That ER is usually at the end. It can be just like it is in Bert, okay? There's still a few words, like the word perfect. That's a little bit bigger word for you second graders, but that ER can be up there. So there are some words, but most of the time you're gonna find it at the end instead. IR, let me erase some of these. IR, I think about probably the two most common words that you have in second grade. It's just like a bird, or like if you're hurt. Oops, wrong one. That's my UR. Dirt. I was thinking about what I was going to write under UR, and then I wrote that word instead. These are probably your most common ones, and there's still a few of them, like a shirt. Okay, now I'd like to say there is a rule so that you know which one to use, but you know what? There's not. But just remember that most of the time the ER is going to be at the end, okay? So that probably means it's going to be IR or UR if it's in another word, okay? Like in twirl, it also has that IR, okay? And then when we go to UR, there's probably even fewer words. That's where I was planning to put my word hurt. Okay, all right, so there's just not a lot of UR, there's not a lot of IR, a lot of ER at the end, a lot of ARs. You'll have those a lot as you go along. But I just wanted to do just a little bit on our R controlled. And then when you guys get back, we'll continue doing our story, The Lost Kitten. And then also we're finishing up, or we're on book 2 in our Alba series. And we know that Alba has been shrunk down to only like 4 inches. and she's trying to get this apple seed back to the lab to her father because it's the last apple seed in the whole world because of these bugs that are destroying all the apple trees. And so when we get back, we'll continue our Alba series, and then make sure you're practicing your spelling words and making sure you look for those R controlled anytime you're reading at home. Have a great snow day. This is Mrs. Soniga, and I'll see you when you get back.